everybody. Joe Misfit Glenn here. I'm with Rod from Utopic. So everybody, welcome Rod. Let's get over to the comments and see what's going on. Jeremy Sims, what's going on?
How's everybody doing tonight?
Hope y'all doing good. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into it. Welcome, Joe. Welcome, Cade. All right, everybody, this is Rod from Utopic, Essential Nutrients, right? So today he's going to talk to us about their nutrient line, and he's going to tell us about this kind of stuff. But, I think we're going to go ahead and start off. Rod, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a Navy corpsman, or was a Navy corpsman, still am in the heart,
Hell yeah.
Well, I was in from 84 to 93, peacetime mostly. Became a Navy instructor, and I taught 3 classes that went to field med school. Most of them went to field med school and out to the front lines of Desert Storm. And then I got out right after that, and so here we are today.
Well, thank you for your service, Rod. Thank you, man.
Thank you guys, man. I've been trying to find a way to take care of my veterans, man, my fellow veterans, and I found it. I think I found it. So,
hell yeah,
for sure.
Well, tell me about what you found, Rod.
Well, I was growing for my wife. She's got a lot of medical problems, and I started growing for my wife. Just before that, I was growing for a large grow to try to learn how. And then once I learned how, I made one for my wife, grow at home. And I started floundering real bad with the nutrient stuff. I used all these different kinds, and I got, micromanaged my nutrients and got too deep and started killing plants, or trying to anyway.
Yeah.
And a friend of a friend brought over some Utopic, and I tried it. And the following morning, my wife and I just looked at each other. We opened the bedroom up. We looked at each other, just started laughing. It was like, what? This can't be. And it's been a crazy ride ever since.
So your plants just exploded? Did you saw some significant difference already?
It was so abruptly different. Like I had little seedlings that were kind of yellow and laying on the coco coir, and like they were just about done.
Right.
And one hit, and the next morning it was just like it breathed new life into my grow. I can't explain it any other way, Joe. It's like it was just like, what? They were still yellow, but they were standing.
Right. That means they got strength.
The next hit they turned green, and the next hit they grew more leaves, and then there you had it.
Just kept going.
That was back in the day, though. That was a few years back. But the reason I decided to try to put Utopic out to the public was that, and now subsequently my fellow veterans is that I found a way that I could be a corpsman again, kind of,
Yeah. I know that feeling. That's exactly why I started growing. And then this is exactly why I try to teach people how to grow and get off their medicine. Same idea, man. I'm just trying to be doc again, man.
If it can help me like it did, I know it'll help everybody that way. And
for sure.
I joined the VFW a few years back to try to find some Afghan and Iraq veterans. I'm getting older, so you want to spread your wisdom, and maybe help,
Sure.
Give back. Yeah, I've been given so much in my life, I could try to give back to my fellow vets. And now I have found a way to do that, and it's really, really cool. It's so gratifying for me and my wife, Evelyn.
Wow. Awesome, man.
The accolades from my fellow vets, some that have already used our stuff. Really, really cool, man.
Hell yeah. Well, Rod, why don't you tell me a little bit about Utopic? Tell me, what they represent and how they got started.
Well, it got started with an old farmer, and his name is Roger Chip Kepford. He goes by Chip. And I just got lucky enough that the store I was buying it from ran out. It fell under another name called Cannabis Gold Premium Fertilizer, and you guys are more than welcome to go look that up. Cannabis Gold Premium Fertilizer, created by Chip Kepford. He's a second-generation farmer out of Ohio. He only made it for his own grow. He wasn't intending at all to send it out for everybody else to use. He was in the process of doing an 80,000 square footer, with 3 dispensaries. He's in the process still today.
Sure.
And so I I got with him after I couldn't find it in stores no more. And the reason I couldn't was because they decided that they weren't going to try to put it to market. They were just going to let it go and you just use it for their own grow.
Sure.
But it was too late. They already let me try it. You know, I already found it once, you know.
Uh-huh.
So we ran out that store here in Michigan. So I'm on the phone. I'm like, where do I find it? And this old farmer says, I can mail it to you. You can come get it. I'm like, well, where are you? He's like, Marion, Ohio. It was 358 round trip miles to go see the man. And we became friends. And He was letting me use this cannabis gold. You know, I was buying it at wholesale cost because I was driving. You know, we became buddies, and I learned so much from this old sage farmer Chip about plant nutrition and stuff. I learned more from him in one day than 4 years of growing before I met him.
Yeah, sometimes those old heads with that really paid attention to their mistakes or their accomplishments, and are able to articulate it in a way that you can understand it. That's the key. Those are the people you need to listen to. Yeah, because they already spent the time doing it. You know?
Yeah, he's second generation. They've been growing corn and soybeans for almost 100 years down there. They got 5,000 acres. So, I mean, they know he's gone to college for all this stuff too, you know. So I'm not a chemist. I'm not a biologist or nothing like that. I grow plants for my wife who needs help, you know.
Right.
So I'm a messenger. And so what happened was I got he gave me a bunch of products to bring up here. So I brought up his line, which was under Cannabis Gold premium fertilizer, and it was a beautiful gold and gold leaf, and it was pretty, but you know, it wasn't eye-catching. But anyway, I went to 128 stores in Michigan, everybody, 128 stores in 1 year, and I got 9 stores to put it on the shelf, and that was cool. I thought it was quite an accomplishment. When no one knows who I am, I'm not a big name grower guy or nothing,
right?
And so I was able to get it on some shelves, and then it just wasn't moving. And it wasn't moving because, you know, I just didn't have a budget for marketing and all that stuff.
Sure.
So we got a budget. And I talked with Chip. He's like, you can call it Rod's Regimen Juice, you know, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And, you know, my wife and I were talking and you know, she's an old hippie gypsy. She's been here 4 or 5 times already, you know. And so in tribute to the hippie movement and what they all did for the whole cannabis thing, it's really a testimony to them. And that's why we went with more of a modern hippie type theme, is just to say, hey, you know, these people are the ones that did it. And this stuff came from a guy that was born, and he was a hippie generation.
Yeah.
And so that's why we did it in this theme instead of the Cannabis Gold. And we had Chip's blessings, and that's great.
Wow. Awesome, man. So real quick, let me reach out. You guys have any questions so far? Got any questions for Rod?
Hit me up.
All right, and while they're thinking of them, Rod, let's talk about now. I want to get into 303. You were mentioning 303 is you had a name for it. What was the name for it?
It's called Micro Magic.
Micro Magic.
And we put a little VW van on there.
Okay, and so with this Micro Magic, tell me a little bit about it. What exactly does it do? What's its purpose?
Yeah, Micro Magic is all the micronutrients you would need for your plant to reach its full genetic potential.
Okay.
So from the borons and the irons and the small stuff that has just minute amount of those things. That's what that product is. It's got some microbes in there too, so that'll start helping in your pots. Or helping even in your hydro, you know. So that's what that product is. It's the only one that's not clear, and that's because iron in its purest form is very orangey red.
Right.
And so just a little pinch of that in a couple 100 gallons is enough to turn it colors. Other than that, it's all my products are clear.
So I got a question real quick since we're on it. Is this for starting your plants, or is this for mature plants, or can you use it anytime?
Well, the cool thing about Utopic is this. You can crack seeds with it until harvest.
Okay.
You can do it in any medium. We've tested it. We've done the testing, guys and gals. Any medium, any methodology, hydro, cocoa, outdoor, indoor, greenhouse, closet, tent, any old way you do it, you can fine tune this just for you. It's the most tweakable, awesome product I've ever seen.
Right. And so you were talking about your product is clear generally. Why is it clear? Most of these things that we get are colored in some way, shape, or form.
Right. And I've used them. I've used some other products, that had every one of them was just this dark brown sludge.
Right.
And so here's what I learned from the old farmer. And this is the secret for any beginner or any OG, and the OGs know it. It's the refinement of the raw material that you use in your product.
Okay.
You can either pay the big money and clean that mineral to its purest form and pay that or not. And if you don't, then you get the impurities on the lesser grades of fertilizer. You
Right.
can go from you can go from average food grade that most crops are grown in America that way. Chip says he uses slightly above average mineral refinement stuff for food grade, and that's a norm around the country. Or you can use pharmaceutical or lab grade, or they also call it greenhouse grade. That's where it is absolutely as clean as you could ever make it. So what we put in our bottles is the most pure of every single ingredient that Chip put in there.
Okay. So purity is your game. I get it. Purity. All right. Cool.
If you can't be organic, be clean.
Right. Exactly. Right. And so with your 303, it also has microorganisms in it, right? Like the mycorrhiza type stuff for your living soil.
There is an ingredient in there. It's proprietary, of course, but there is an ingredient in there, and it does foster the microbes.
Okay.
And what we did also find, just so it's out there and honest, our hashtag is discover our truth. Okay. Yeah. And I'll tell you every truth I've ever heard and seen and know. And if you have an additional microbial product that you like, we have found that it works. That our stuff with those stuff works fantastic too.
Okay.
So it works. You can use all kinds of different things that you did. Let's say you got your own secret brew, but you want to add a little something.
Right.
This is great for that because we, as a pure, clean product, we support any other product because we're usually mostly cleaner. So if you have a below average fertilizer grade that you've been using and you mix ours in with it, ours kind of will take over, not to be a jerk or nothing, but it takes over and helps. It helps.
Yeah, it boosts the amendment. It helps it out. I get it. That's understandable. And there was a question somebody was asking about the liquid. Yes, it is a synthetic liquid, guys. Yep. But like Rod said, this is about the purity of the elements, okay? And so by cleaning these elements, they're saying that they can outdo anybody that you guys are probably messing with right now. But
listen, and I all the guys that used organic stuff and they used blood worms. I'm not well versed in that.
Meal stuff
compost.
Like
it goes inside the cow defecates, then you use that as for I'm saying is that all the organic was all living matter usually at one point or another, where this is smashed up rocks basically, guys, and you can go to anybody, Fox Farm and Athena and all the other brands, they all do the same smashed rock thing. So you either got the smashed rock thing or you've got the organic thing, and I give total credit to those that do that other side of things. God bless them. They're growing for the love too,
Right. Now I have a quick question for you. I'm not real versed in the nutrient thing, but since it's synthetic, is that the same thing as salts? Because they always say salt build up with your nutrients. So this is a salt kind of a thing, or the minerals that'll build up, right?
I have to say it's put into the salt-based products.
Right. Okay. I got you. I understand.
Like when you use a soft pot, you see the white on the outside at the end.
Yeah.
You're going to see some of that with our product.
Okay.
What makes things different is you can also have the brown stuff that's included on that salty stuff, or you can have it just the clean
purity. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and so that's what. So the plant says when the plant gets our stuff, it says this. Wow,
Gotcha.
Wow, thanks for, it's not McDonald's tonight. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I'm not saying nothing bad about nobody else. I'm saying, they just get that, whoa.
Right.
And there's some things we'll get to why that whoa is in some other products that we talk about.
Okay. Well, let's get after the 1011.
That's got our pure sulfur in it.
Sulfur. Okay.
Yeah, that's a sulfur-based product, and that's where the salts comes from. And the beauty about that product is the plant loves salt. Plants love sulfur. They need it. They got to have it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really cool about ours is you can actually take a quarter cup of our 1011. You can throw it in a 1 gallon jug, a quarter cup in a 1 gallon jug. And if you've got powdery mold, 2 applications, forget about it. It's done.
Wow. Okay.
And you can spray it on your plants as a foliar spray, and it saves you some money at the store. And it won't hurt your plants. You won't burn your plants ever. And that's why we love that product. And it's just pure sulfur. And then the 11 they got a lot of potash in there.
Potash. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. And so what about this 173, the far out phosphate? Tell me a little bit about that.
Far out phosphate, that is our the 173. That's our NPK. And
NPK.
I was showing you the other night, Joe. I didn't grab it. I could if you wanted me to. I've got a couple of vials. And one vial, it looks like peppercorn, let's say.
You showed me.
Yeah. And on the other one, it kind of looked like sea salt, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said to Joe, I said, this one is NPK, food grade.
Right.
It looked like peppercorn.
They did.
And my other one was NPK, but it had pure NPK. And it's almost a clear product.
Mm-hmm.
Pure
it
clear.
looked like rock salt, literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Also NPK, but that's pharmaceutical level.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do anything less than that is my question.
Well, if you're making medicine, you wouldn't.
Right. I could never put something in it, nor Chip as a farmer, put something in there that's going to harm us,
So I have a question from Joe, and he's asking about it affecting the pH. Is there any studies on how the pH is affected?
What we learned is you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it.
Don't worry about your pH. Keep an eye on it. You don't want 12.
Right.
You don't want 0.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen ranges of 4 to 7, 8.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't affect the plants whatsoever. When you're talking about the pure, the plants decide what they're going to take when they want to take it. And you say,
mm-hmm.
well, it's under certain pH levels. Yes, if it's not pure.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, but if you have mycorrhiza or the living organisms in your soil, and your soil is sitting at 5.0 or 9.0, you have alkali or acidic. That's going to start killing off your living soils, and
correct.
So they won't be delivering the nutrients unless you keep feeding them the stuff.
So if you stay in that decent range of 5 to 8, 5.5 to 8.
Mm-hmm.
My water, when it came out of my tap, when I was using it, was 8.
Uh-huh.
I ran it through a couple of tall boy filters, got it down to 7, 6, 8, 7.
Yeah.
And I would use a cap of some down, and it was done. Sometimes not at all. Sometimes it would drop it right perfect at 6, 3, 4. So, but I've seen guys using it that have used it, and it's 8, and his plants are as green and beautiful as can be.
Right. Sometimes, like say for instance, my water comes out at 7.2 out of the tap, right?
Okay.
If I add nutrients to that water, and CalMag, right, and at my stuff, it usually puts it right at 6.5 every time.
You'll see a change with our stuff.
So the nutrient does do stuff to it, but I think that the question from Joe was about maintaining the pH levels in your soil. Maybe does it help with that?
It does. Absolutely. So, in fact, check your runoff once in a while. Do some runoff once in a while and make sure your plant's drinking.
Gotcha.
That's what you'll find out. I asked Chip about that. I said about parts per million one time. He's like, who cares about parts per million? and I said, well, everybody that's ever asked me.
I care.
He says, what you care about is what's left over.
Mm-hmm.
Is more so than what you put in. because you want to make sure that whatever you put in, it comes out more zero.
Right.
Because you want your plants to absorb what you put in there.
Uh-huh.
You know, and we found with the feed water system that really works well. It gives the plant a chance to get all that last feeding up inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, but, keep an eye on your pH. You definitely want to do that. But between 5.8, depending on if you're hydro or cocoa, or 5.8 to 7, you'll find your way. You're going to dial it in yourself. It's very tweakable. And every grower always dials in their rooms. And this nutrient's no different than any other when it comes to dialing in your room.
You have to. That's the whole, for your grow area. And it's different than the guy next door to you. You have to dial in your area. And once you do that, everything will be copacetic, right?
And we say it on our feed chart, these are just some go-bys.
Yeah.
I've seen people use half of what I tell them. I've seen them I used 12 times too much.
Mm-hmm.
When I first learned it, and I never burned a plant, not once.
That's
I ended up with too much plant. I couldn't take care of it all. It got out of hand. I couldn't even stop. I was like nuts.
Right.
Wait till you see it. I can't wait till you guys see it.
I can't wait, man. What's this elixir of life? The 003?
Yeah, for those people that love the organic and the dry amendments and all that good stuff, this is great for you guys. You guys will love this part. So plants, there's I think 5 hormones. I think maybe 6, but 5 very, very, very big ones. And so what Chip found was a kelp farmer who grows kelp in very pristine, lab-like, sterile conditions. And then we pay for the process of the pure liquid extraction of the plant hormones from those plants. Okay. And there's other ways of doing it. I heard you can dry the plant and then smash it up in powder and add some water and stuff. And there you go. There's your plant hormones. Yeah. Or you can extract the pure, clear liquid plant hormones from the plant. Okay. And so the gibberellins and the cytokinins and forgive me, there's 5 of them. And each one plays a role. Look them up. You can Google it. I did. They each play a role for the plant health. And so Chip said, okay, give me this much of this much of that, and he honed it for cannabis instead of tomatoes. So he honed it. He honed, yeah. So the humates are in there, the silicates for strong, walls, and boy, Chip could do this product so much more justice than me.
No, man, you're spitting it out right, man. You just telling us what's up. I like it. I appreciate it. Keywords,
silicates, humates, hormones.
Okay.
And so then the last one is our 502, our CalMag, and that's called Flower Power.
Flower Power,
right. Yeah, and that's our CalMag, and there's a booster in that CalMag too that makes our CalMag, even though it's pure and clean, there's another ingredient. It escapes me now, but it's like a power up type of thing. All clean and natural stuff, whatever it is, and it raises the power of the CalMag to make it really, really good. Best CalMag. People tell me it's the best CalMag they've ever used.
All right. That's a bold statement, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, I can only go by what I'm told.
Hell yeah. Hey, let's go back to 003. I'm intrigued by the hormone thing. Mm-hmm. Can you get a little bit deeper into what the hormones are going to do for us?
I'm glad you brought that up because it's a big one. When we were doing this, we know that we could take our products. There's a couple products we could take, and then we could rebottle it. Same exact thing. You rebottle it with a new name and charge you $89 a quart.
Right.
Or you can just have it right there in your baseline. So with the 1011, the solar sulfur, there's your powdery mold killer. Forget about the rest. You don't need the rest. Just try it when you get it. I hope you never get it. I'll pray you never get powdery mold. But if you do, give this a shot. Quarter cup, gallon sprayer, hit your plants, get the backsides, get it all around. And 2 different applications. Do it one day, skip, do it another, and boom, it's done. So the elixir of life, though, is what you're getting to. And what I asked Chip one day, I said, hey, would that be good if with my clones? So it's got the hormones in there, the pure liquid. He goes, Yeah, we've done thousands of trays, vertical testing. Absolutely. So I said, okay, I got me just a basic pod cloner thing, no jets and all that good stuff, just a basic hood light cloner.
Right.
And I used my week 1, which is 3 mils. I used half. So half a mil per gallon, and maybe a gallon, except for the elixir, I used 12 times. Excuse me, 4 times. So it would be 12 milliliters, which isn't a whole lot, guys. It's like a shot glass or something, into the gallon. And then I used that as keep my pods wet.
Okay.
But before I did that, I took all my clones and I dipped it into the 003 for a few minutes.
Uh-huh.
Where you do your cut,
Yep.
dip it in, let it sit there like you would any other product that you've all used.
Mm-hmm.
Dip it in there for a few minutes, put it in your pod, get your pods wet, throw the dome on. 5 days later, I called Chip. I said, it's nonsense. This stuff doesn't work. There's barely any roots coming out. Forget about it. He's like, just hold your horses. Day 9, I lifted that hood up and lifted up that tray, and the whole bottom was root.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
25 clones, 24 made it because I knew one wasn't going to because I cut it wrong.
I get it. Well, good, man. That's basically 100% success. I could appreciate that.
And anybody who's ever done it, they're like, my God, Rod, thanks for telling me about that. It's its own root gel, basically. Wow.
That's pretty bitchy.
And when you cut that plant, it's like, hey, what are you doing? It goes like this, right?
Sure.
And it sucks those hormones up. And it's like, oh, thank you.
Right. I guess.
With the other stuff too,
Oh yeah. Now with the flower power CalMag, can we use this through the whole grow?
Yes.
Is it not recommended, certain stages of flower or certain stages of, babyhood, if you will?
I hear that loud and clear. I'm glad you asked that. Chip takes a holistic approach to growing, believe it or not, when you say synthetics. He takes a holistic approach, and that is, if you can keep your plant hugely healthy from seed crack to harvest, that gives your plant the best chance for the best quality, best yield, best terps and cannabinoids and all that good stuff. Shock, deficiencies, all those things retract from that plant giving you what they wanted to give you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So our parts are used in unison. You use them in unison. They're made to be used in unison.
Together, right.
Can you use this one or that one? Yeah, one guy just bought that 1011 just for his powdery mold, but he still used some other product for his feedings. I don't know.
Right.
So it's made to be used in unison. Now, I've heard growers say, when you get to the last stages of flower, you don't need a whole bunch of this, but you need more of that. Is that true?
There are certain times that the plant's asking me for it. Yes.
Right. So do what you do.
Right.
My feed chart is a guesstimation go by. I know that if you do it exactly like that feed chart, you're going to get a great harvest.
Right.
But I don't know nothing. Growers. I mean, I know my thing. Each grower knows their thing.
Sure.
And you will make this your thing. I've watched other growers do it. They do one run. They go, you know what I learned? If I do this next time, just a little bit more of that, a little less of this, and I tweak it myself, fine tune this thing, and then they do it and they go, told you.
Like I told you, I was telling you, after every harvest, I have dealt with that plant for, say, at minimum 4 months, right? Every day, 4 months touched that particular plant. So it's at the end, when I'm hanging it, I look at it, I check all kinds of things out with it, and I make notes on what I want to change the next time I grow this particular strain for every one of my strains. And they're all different. Every one of them are going to be different. Every seed's going to be different. But
keep a journal. I kept a journal.
You have to, if it matters to you. A lot of people just want to grow and have something really cool. But for me,
there's every kind of grower ever. I mean, there's a young lady with one plant that she grows in her closet to these 10,000 plant people. And every way of growing, every methodology, it's just nuts. but I haven't seen it yet. 3, 4, 500,000 people. There's nobody that couldn't tweak it for what they wanted.
Gotcha. Hey,
not once.
Hey, real quick, Rod, I'm going to address this question real quick. I don't believe it's necessarily about this stuff, but Brennan's asking about growing outside in hot environments and tips for beginner tricks. Now, I live in Oklahoma. It's super hot and humid here. There's stuff that grows out there. It's been growing there forever. People garden. They don't have any air conditioning out there. These plants sit in 110 degrees, direct sunlight, over 2,000 par. I've checked it with my meters. And so they just survive. There's something we can't always replicate with nature. Indoors, outdoors, she's going to be okay. I believe that. Now, perhaps the intensity of sun, if you have a weak strain or a weak, just weak strain, then you might have some issues with it. And that would be my reasoning for you having trouble with bad genetics.
Yeah, genetics is a big one. Very much so.
Yeah. And so,
then again, I can tell you that one of my best grows I ever did was a bunch of bag seed from some average stuff.
Yeah. and also if your stuff's in a pot, okay, out there, now your root zone is getting that hot. That's a problem. If you have your stuff in a pot, dig a hole and put your pot down in the hole.
Yes.
That way it has the cooler temps. That would be the best tip or trick that I could help you with heat, man. At
a minimum, cut the bottom of your soft pot in an X and dig a little area like a foot deep. Get that pot down in there and let the magnetic energy of the earth get a hold of that plant, y'all.
Okay, so how old is that plant, Brennan? If you can let me know. And Joe Schroner, as far as the CalMag, he was saying you could use it throughout your whole cycle, throughout the whole grow. Okay, that's what he said.
Yep, our feed chart's 3, 5, 10.
Okay,
we got to keep it simple, sailor.
All right, so go ahead with that. Tell me what that means.
The feed charts are done in a standardized way. If you grab it from any other company and you look at them, and it's 4 weeks of veg and 8 weeks of flower, sometimes 9 if it's a sativa or whatever, or a finicky girl,
Right.
So the feed charts are all kind of designed around this standard blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we say is, according to a feed chart, 3 mils for the whole time you're in flower, which is 4 weeks. 3 mils per week.
Okay, so 3 meals once a week.
Once a week.
Okay.
I don't care if you use 200 gallons for the one plant, which you won't,
right?
Or 1 gallon. Okay, that plant requires 3 mils of each per week.
Okay.
I've seen people do 1.66, 1.66, 1.66, and feed 3 times a week.
Right.
1 time a week, 3 mils. So it's a feed, water.
Right.
Make sure you get a couple good waters in there. Let that plant grab it all. Don't waste no newts.
Right.
Okay. Let it all get up in there. You will not see deficiencies.
All right. So I hope that helps, Joe. I hope that squared you away, my man.
And then the first 2 weeks of flower, 5 mils. And then the last 4 or 5 or whatever you do, flower, 10 mils. 3, 5, 10.
Gotcha. 3, 5, 10. Cool. Hey, I want to shout out to Brennan. Brennan, look me up, message me, okay? And I can get into this with you if you need to, okay, bro? It shouldn't be much different than my kind of areas, and I have an idea for you. So message me if you would, man, and I'll square you, okay?
Some people drop the CalMag and do the potassium or something. I forget now. There's a increase one and decrease, and you can do whatever you want with it.
That's literally what everybody does. Is, they have their own little things. And like I was telling you, for me, I may feed a 5-month-old plant twice its whole life, maybe. And that's usually how many times it requires of something, like whether it be a CalMag deficiency, slight, or a magnesium deficiency, ever so slight. I notice it. I take care of it. That's all I do. And it's always quarter cut. I never give them the full cut, but that's because I don't want to taste it later. But I'm using stuff that may not be as pure as yours. And so I'm really interested in trying that out.
Yeah. What's cool is I've had people report back, they only use half.
Yeah.
And I heard people say they've doubled it.
Yeah.
I can tell you this, I've used, so let me show you this scenario. 20-gallon pot, 3.5, 4-gallon feeds 3 times a week. 10 mils per gallon, I was taught. By not Chip, by the guy who was in the middle there.
Right.
So 10 times 4 is 40, times 3 feeds is 120 mils for the week. They needed 10. What happened? Buds. No burn, no nothing, no tip burn, nothing.
Man.
It's the most forgiving, loving nutrient line you could ever ask for, unless you're going worms and cow poop,
Well, if it is possible to mess your plant up, I'm sure I can accomplish it. So
I tried. The testing's done.
I've done worse.
I tried to kill them. And here's a great example, too. One last example. Chip decided during the testing phase, this is years ago, that's how long it takes to get a nutrient line to market, by the way. He was testing it years ago, and he said, okay, I'm going to take a tomato plant because they assume, I learned that they use about the same stuff. Tomato plants and cannabis require about the same stuff, about the same amounts. So he took 10 times the feed chart. Every single feed to try to burn that tomato plant, he got 8 foot tall, 6 foot across, and 8 bushels. His neighbors got tired of seeing him.
Wow.
With free tomatoes.
Hey,
a corn farmer.
Bro, I have the dreaded question.
Hit it.
Talk to me about costs, my man. We need to know what this is going to run us back, man.
Yeah. So retail is expensive. Is it because the refinement's expensive?
Okay.
You pay what you get what you pay for.
Get what you pay for.
You get Crown Royal, or you can get City or 7. That kind of thing. But what we learned, here's what we learned. You can still get the most refined and still keep it affordable per feed. In fact, because it's the most refined, it goes so far. So you think, it's the X, So it's for a quart run, get you 11 plants. Retail from a store is $189 for 5 quarts.
$189, 5 quarts.
30 or 40, 45 a quart. Okay. We don't do retail. And for veterans, we specifically don't do retail. Okay. Gotcha. So it's we've got it down to where you get out the door about 130, between 130 and 150, depending on the sale I'm having. Right. And you just pay for your shipping, which is only $22 for a priority mail. It comes in a regular large priority, 2 to 3 day, $22.80, and the 6% Michigan sales tax. I got to do it. So you get out about 150. So here's what we got it down to. With a quart run on sale, give you a good price on it. You're about $1 a feed per plant. Okay. But only 12 feeds.
Now, was there a discount that you guys gave to veterans?
Well, right now we're doing code? Yeah, and right now our website's up, but I have nobody to run it, and I don't know anything about technology, guys. So here's what you do: you can Cash App, and you can Venmo, and we can do my Messenger and Utopic Messenger. There's a ton of ways to buy it and pay for it. But for veterans, right now we're doing that 710 thing and some other groups, which puts you at about $130 out the door.
Okay, so that's $130 for all of your lines.
5.
All 5 of them, yes. Okay.
Yeah, and I think 120 something was one guy, because so it's about almost 50%, 40%. And anytime veterans are a flat 10% off, period.
Okay.
So with you guys, just hop on the 710 party, and you'll get 40% off, damn near.
Cool, man.
And I still make a few bucks, and you guys got some great newts, man.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm not looking to be rich. I'm just looking to,
Huh?
I said, I'm not looking to be rich. I'm just looking to pay the bills, man. And like I said to Joe the other night, if I could just get an RV and travel around with a Utopic RV and go to stores and pass out T-shirts, bro, that's life, bro. I'm done. I don't need a whole lot of money.
That'd be
You
cool,
know?
man.
And it's so cool
But,
to be a corpsman again and help people grow great medicine.
You know, I don't know, man. I'd have to think on that if I'd want to go do that again.
What's that?
Be a medic again. I don't know if I could go back and do it.
I don't know if I could either. I was peacetime guy, and you never know when you're called to duty, you know. So
Right.
It allows me to, in my sense, as a peacetime corpsman, it allows me to treat again. It allows me to love my fellow man again. It allows me to feel what I felt like when I was a corpsman, to help somebody do better in their grow. And they make better medicine, and they call you on the phone like, "Holy shit, Rod!"
Nice.
You know, thank you. You see it on the text, Instagram. Look at this! I can't believe my plants. Holy cow! And it's all pure, clean stuff, Joe.
Now, Rod, do you happen to have like maybe some information that you could post up on the Facebook page that would give us a rundown on all those hormones? I know you said there was 5 of them or whatever. You know, the names of them and stuff.
I get you the names. I get you the names, and anybody can Google them up.
Okay.
But I'll get you the names of those. There's 5. In fact, give me 1 second.
What's up, Vincent Salerno? All right. You guys have any other questions? Joe, I hope I'm answering these questions for you, my man. He said there was 5 of them, Joe. And I think he said that's all of them. I don't know.
What's that?
I was talking to Joe on here, letting him know what's up.
Yeah, there's 5 parts. Total.
Okay, 5 parts.
Yeah. You can't. And here's the thing: we couldn't get it in any lesser amount of parts because in each jug is like a frat house. Everybody's got to get along like a submarine. Everybody's got to get along in there.
Right.
So when you're dealing with the most refined stuff, you can only put so much in each jug, or they start fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
It's just nature of the beast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we couldn't get it any. If Chip could, he'd have done it. 4-part, 3-part. But you got to separate them out the way they want to live peacefully with each other.
Right. Yeah, okay. You can't put it all together at once. Yeah, it's just like you said.
Definitely, guys. Always do the chart, pour in your reservoir. Do the chart, rinse between.
Right.
Just like any other synthetic. Okay.
Gotcha.
So here's those ones. It's auxins.
Auxins. Okay.
Yeah. AUXIN.
Yep.
There's gibberellins. GIBBER. Gibberellins. ELLINS. Gibberellins.
Mm-hmm.
It might be pronounced gibberellins. I don't know, guys.
Never heard of it.
Abscisic acid. ABS. CISIC. Almost like Tylenol, acetylsalicylic acid.
Acetylsalicylic acid. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Then there's cytokinin. 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 Something like that. I should know these guys. I really should know these for you guys. All right. Then the next one is salicylic acid. SALIC. Salicylic. CYLIC. Yep. Salicylic acid. And don't let that word acid freak you guys out, man.
No, there's bunches of acids in everything that we do, including in our bodies.
Oh, yeah. And then the last one is ethylene.
Ethylene. Okay.
Ethylene. ETHYLENE.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the 5 that are in here. And they're vital for healthy. They are vital to have healthy, strong, and happy plants, y'all.
Cool.
And we call it the elixir of life for a reason.
I appreciate you taking the time to read those off for us, man. Hey, no problem. There's some questions for you, Rod. They want to know if you want to join the video chats after the live.
Absolutely. I'll answer every question you got, man, best I can.
I believe there's a couple of folks that have some questions for you.
Yep. I can have a cigarette and a beer, right?
Huh?
I can have a cigarette and a beer.
Damn straight.
Hang out with my boys and girls, my buddies.
All good, man. All good.
Man. I'm in.
Hell yeah. Well, on that note, man, let's go get that beer. And
guys. Thank you so much, everybody.
hey, well, let me ask: is there any more questions, guys? If there's any more questions for Rod or myself, let me know. And Brennan, join the message thing, or we'll try to send you an invite or whatever. If not, message me and we can talk about your outdoor growing. Okay.
And Joe, one last thing, guys. You can go to Facebook, Utopic Essential Nutrients. You can go to Instagram, Utopic Essential Nutrients, or Utopic Nutrients. I'm not sure. You got to check. Take a look, and you'll see hundreds of pictures and testimonies of veteran growers and civilian growers, and
cool.
Yeah, testimonies and pictures just galore.
Well, good stuff. Hey, and I put the little ticker down at the bottom for your Facebook page and Instagram, and also your web page. But you said I wasn't necessarily up and running just yet.
It's up and running, but we're gonna start fresh, I think, guys. If you know anybody who can do websites, let me know.
All right. And we know a few people, but
all right.
Okay, and so guys, you remember the waffles, they're about to be ending. Go get your stuff now, okay? Got that 650R spec from HLG. That's like a $700 light, folks. $5 ticket. I mean, and you could win. And then also there's 8 seed packs to choose from. You can pick 2, and that's for a $5 entry. That's pretty good deal, guys. Go get that stuff up, and all the money goes right to shipping to get that stuff out to you. That's the only way we're able to do it, guys. All right. So everybody, thank you for showing up and watching. And Rod, thank you for being on here, man. I look forward to talking to you after the show.
Peace and love, man. Peace and love.
Hang on 1 second, and I'll talk with you after I end the live. Okay, guys?
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
All right, guys. So until next time, I am out. Happy